Dylan.
What?
It's Veterans Day. You want to go for a hike?
Yeah.
It's going to rain, though.
That's okay.
It is raining.
Yeah.
That's okay, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why is that okay?
Because it feels good.
Because it feels good. That's because you're not sweet enough to melt Buddy and Turds float.
Yeah.
Just hiking in the rain. That's what people do. That's what we do, at least. All right, y'all. So you always got to gather your materials for a project. At this point in time, we are gathering the leaves. We will show you what we do with the leaves later on in the video. Dylan, you're doing a great job, Ricky. You're welcome, son.
I think it's full.
Ha! No way, bro. Gotta get your smoosh on. Get it in there. Look at all that space we got. Don't stop now.
Brother man. All right, brother man, I think it's full.
Is it?
Take it to the truck. Let's go. Would you like me to get that for you, son? Oh, that's my boy. Yeah. Boy, woo. Yeah. Okay, so we finished playing in the woods for the morning. I know you're watching this video to learn how we plant garlic. So let's get to it. You can plant anything, or do any project for that matter. You need to get your supplies together and your materials together. So that's what we're doing at the moment. Dylan's going through, cleaning out anything from the bed that may have blown in since we pulled the sunflowers from the bed this summer. And he's getting it ready for us to soften the dirt up and get things ready to put the garlic in. Now, we are not going to bother this butterfly bush because it's a perennial and it'll come back next year. We like to encourage pollinators, so that's going to stay. The sage is going to stay until we have to harvest it, and then it'll come out of the way. And then down at the end there, we've got small rosemary that didn't do very well, but we're going to let that stay until it's time to get it out of the way as well. Now this flower is also a perennial. It got dug up at some point, so we'll get that replanted so that it'll come back too. But we've got our bed that we're going to plant the garlic in. We're getting that prepped. But I need to tell you guys about the garlic that we're going to plant. So let's see what we got here. So our friend Courtney Ewing from Prestige Farm Wide shared some garlic with us that she got and is planting up in Seymour, Indiana, where she lives. The first one says from Mad River, culinary because small, but you can plant it too. So I think what she's referring to is the other ones are very large garlic cloves that she has, and this one is not. So we've got these here, and these will still give us garlic cloves, so we're going to plant them. The other one says this is from her friend in Charlestown. It's called Music Garlic. It's a pretty big clove. It smells pungent. You can smell it. I absolutely love garlic, so for me this is a win. All right, I ordered some Siberian garlic, and this garlic is actually starting to sprout a little bit on me. So I've got 3 cloves of this that we're going to put in the bed as well. And last but certainly not least, our good friend Mr. Delmer Morgan over at Morgan's Old Timey Home Place in Henryville, Indiana, gave us some garlic cloves that he has grown on his property, and he said these are Osage garlic. I may be not saying that right. If I'm not, forgive me. But Mr. Delmer enjoys growing a lot of Native American varieties of different plants. So I imagine this is from some Native American tribe, and he is trying to keep that heritage alive. So we're gonna get this bed planted, or not planted, but prepared, and then we'll go over planting. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go through with the tine here, we're just gonna soften up this top. We're not going crazy deep. Just gonna soften this up. Son, will you come over here? The stuff that's up on the log, will you push it back into the bed for me? Thank you, bud. So this is good compost that we got from Earth First last year when we made this bed. My daughter Genesis wanted to do cut flowers, and we didn't have any beds for her to do those in. We got a ton of compost and whipped up some quick beds so that she could do that. Let me pull that rooster. All right, so all I'm doing now is just going through, lightly raking the top anywhere that there's a clump that hasn't broken up yet. Just going ahead and giving it a few pokes and breaking that up. Now the thing with the garlic is this stuff's going to stay in the ground all the way through next year. Hopefully we'll be harvesting around May. We just want to get it a good, soft, aerated space to start its life in. Cool. And pull any weeds that may take over the space. Know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna use the corner of the hoe. I'm gonna go ahead and start putting my lines in, and then we'll show you the lines in a minute. Now for our purposes, we're gonna plant the garlic 3 inches deep. We're gonna do that. Dylan, go ahead and grab your leaves, buddy.
Okay.
We're gonna do that because we're gonna mulch this heavily with the leaves that we raked up earlier in the video after we got done hiking. There's a reason for the leaves. Do me a favor, buddy. Don't come over here digging in my garlic once we plant it. Alrighty. So I'm gonna take the camera with me and show y'all these lines. Dylan,
Sure.
I want you to go ahead and grab these cloves from Courtney.
Okay.
So our lines are spaced about a foot apart. I've raked them down about 3 inches deep. Just for, so y'all can see. About 3 inches deep. Dylan is gonna take these cloves and he's gonna start lining the holes. That end goes on the bottom towards the ground. That end goes up. So Dylan's gonna start putting these in here, and he's gonna spread them a hand width apart. So we wanna spread these dudes out about 6 inches apart. It's kind of hard to see the lines because it's all black. Good compost though. We're gonna get these lines filled in, and we'll come back and talk to you some more. So you got a line there too, son. Dylan is going to keep all of the garlic from that batch that I put on that bag in these 2 rows here. I don't want to intermingle the garlic from the different sources. That way we can know later on in the year when we harvest which did better for us and which we liked more. So now that we have the garlic where we want it in the lines we want it to be in, we're going to go back over the garlic now and cover it back up with the dirt that we opened up in order to be able to plant the garlic seed. And the way we're doing this and kind of making a hill as we backfill will allow us to know where to put the next step that we're going to show you guys. Boom. So technically the garlic is now planted, but we go a few steps further. Watch and see. Go ahead and pull that shovel out of there, son. There we go. All right, y'all. That is manure from our rabbit coop and some straw that falls under it. This stuff is like the best possible fertilizer you could put on as an immediate application. Because it's not considered a hot manure, this can be applied right away. So we're gonna go ahead and put this on top of our rows. Some of y'all might be saying, oh my God, they're grabbing that with their hands. If you live on a homestead or a farm, I promise you've touched plenty of poo in your lifetime. This is aged. This isn't brand new from this week or today or any of that. We had this in preparation for today because we knew, thanks to our buddy Mr. Delmer, that we were going to plant our garlic today. He sent me the almanac planting dates, and we knew we were going to do it on Veterans Day because that's one of the dates, 11/11. Go ahead and get the rest of that out of there and just stack it on those rows that we've created as well. I'm gonna take you guys down and show you the rows real quick. Kind of gives you a little bit of idea of the spacing as well. We didn't want to crowd the garlic seed because we want our bulbs to have plenty of space to develop in their maturity and be as large as possible. So if we crowded them, they wouldn't have that ability. At least from our understanding and the research we've done. All right. Now we're gonna put some of nature's mulch out. We're gonna apply this very heavily to the entire bed. Dylan is gonna work on this bag that we packed earlier, and we've got one more small bag that we also raked up that I'm gonna grab. So if you couldn't hear him, what Dylan was saying was that the leaves in the bag are already starting to compost, that there's heat generated in his black bag. When we raked these leaves up earlier, they were wet. They're in that black bag in the back of our truck for a good bit of the day while we ran a few errands. Now typically using the leaves, you may want to lay some hardware cloth over it, something breathable for at least a week or so, keep them from blowing away. But these leaves are wet, and I'm out here in shorts and a cut-off shirt today, but believe it or not, tonight it's supposed to get really cold, and by 7 a.m. it's supposed to snow. So these leaves aren't going to get a chance to dry out. I'm not concerned with them blowing away. Keep layering it on, brother. It's going to break down. This might look like a monster pile of leaves, but Dylan, do you remember how many times we were able to pack that bag down?
A lot.
And that same thing is going to happen with these leaves throughout the winter. Right now it's a nice thick pile of leaves. But as winter goes on, these are going to break down, they're going to pack down, and they're just going to make a really good mulch. But they're also going to fertilize this to some extent. Now, there is a misconception that leaves have a lot of natural fertilizer in here. They don't. They're a good organic material. They're a good natural mulch, but they don't have a really strong pack of nitrogen or anything in them when they break down. And being good stewards, we're going to save this bag and collect leaves in this bag for the next bed that we plant. Level it out a little bit, son. Pull it away from the existing plants, like that sage. There you go. You just want it off the leaves of the sage. You can bring it up close to it. You just want it off the top of the actual green parts of the plant. Good deal. All right, guys. So this is a jar of our fermented garlic. I put red pepper flake in it, some fresh dill sprigs, and this stuff is phenomenal. I'm going to do a video with Prestige Farm Wide on fermenting garlic. But we absolutely love garlic in our house. So planting these beds, it's extremely important to us. It's a good source of garlic that we know is not contaminated and hasn't had any kind of pesticides or herbicides or anything else sprayed around it. Now, this young man and I were fortunate enough to stumble across some wild garlic this past summer, and that's where this garlic came from. And I mean, we found droves and droves of it. Now, what we ended up doing was we would only pick a few plants from each patch we found wild so that the rest could come to seed and would seed. But if you guys like what we're doing, subscribe to the channel. Check us out on Facebook, Chasing Dreams Homestead. And as always, y'all, keep dreaming. That's good stuff.